Welcome, it's Terry Tillard here. Today I want to discuss some of the questions that have been coming in to me recently. I asked for some feedback and people were asking, what doctors do you go see? The naturopathic doctors, the functional, the integrative, which one is it? The answer is none. Now, that's not to say that they're all bad, that they're all bad people, that they have all bad intentions. I'm most certainly not saying that. There are some good ones out there, but they are all self-taught. Let me give you a little bit of perspective here. I was just reading an article recently from a recent naturopathic doctor graduate who was comparing her curriculum to medical doctors because she wants to be seen in her community as a primary care physician. This was her quote. NDs are trained similarly to GPs, as in general practitioners, in the medical doctor model. She goes on to talk about blood tests and imaging tests, all the imaging tests that are very, very dangerous, by the way, and a whole slew of other things that are crazy. She also goes on to talk about later in her article, if you have stage 3 cancer, it is our due diligence to recommend chemo and radiation if research has indicated this is the best treatment and work alongside with our other stuff, whatever. She goes on to talk. This is pure insanity, people. Absolute pure insanity. There is no such thing as functional, integrative, work alongside mustard gas. Mustard gas, stabbing, and microwaving people. Okay, it's documented over and over and over and over and over and over again. It's very clear. It's black and white. Mustard gas harms people. All poison harms people. All drugs harm people. The naturopathic doctor may help you get off some of the drugs, minimize some of the drugs, but they're still technically not saying drugs are bad in the way that they're supposed to. They're basically saying that they're under legal pressure to recommend chemo, radiation, surgery, drugs, surgery, let's call it stabbing. They drug you one thread from death before they stab you. Mustard gas. I could speak all day about this subject for another video. And radiation clearly causes cancer and many other diseases. I talk about this at length in other videos and live and all that good stuff. So I don't go and see any of them. Now, the functional and integrative medicine doctors, let's just be clear, for the most part, these are MDs, medical doctors, trained medical doctors, who go and take a bunch of other courses, small modules, not huge curriculums, and then get certified as kind of like a certificate, a diploma type program after graduation. And this is what makes them qualified to be naturopathic doctors of whatever kind, helping you with natural medicine. The sheer fact that they use the term integrative is your dead giveaway. You know, I've spoken this with other friends of mine who are true traditional naturopaths, who believe in true traditional naturopathy, and they all say the same thing as I do. Get off the fence. You either clearly recognize that poison is bad for you, and hence why it's called poison and classified as such, or you don't. There isn't really this straddling of the fence stuff. This is crazy talk. Now, mathematically, when you break down the curriculum of the naturopathic doctors versus the medical doctors, sorry, I'm just trying to adjust the camera here a little bit. When you break down the curriculum of the naturopathic doctor versus the medical doctor, 85%, literally 85% of the curriculum is identical to the medical doctors. And as Carolyn Dean said, just to give you some perspective, who is both a medical doctor and a naturopathic doctor, she said in my first 2 years of medical school, we basically learned all about diseases. See, notice how she didn't say health. She said about diseases. So it's not the study of health to begin with. And then we spent the next 2 years matching drugs to those diseases. That was basically the entirety of our education. If the naturopathic doctor only did 15% of their curriculum on studying these things, and amongst that 15% is some counseling, some chiropractic care. Of course, they're not licensed chiropractors. If you need chiropractic care, you're going to go see a chiropractor. Some Ayurveda, some Chinese medicine, some herbs, lots of multivitamins, B2, B3, all the different subsets of the E vitamins, all the minutia that's not found in nature, because it's about controlling the education that they're receiving to neuter them, to render them impotent, and the licensing process is to handcuff people to make sure they stay in line and only do what is legally allowed. And I'll elaborate on that after for you. But Carolyn Dean said exactly that as a medical doctor. That's why she went and studied the ND route, because she knew she wasn't helping people because it was poison, and she wanted to get out of that. So this is what the naturopathic doctors are trained in. Now, give you another example. People always think, well, yeah, but their training is good and all that stuff. Okay, fine, chalk it up. Some of the training is good, some of it's valuable. But the naturopaths are still studying in about 15 different disciplines, including counseling, studying blood work, chatting with you, a little bit of diet, a little bit of nutrition. It's all good stuff. Those are the right things. Many things are right and true about health that they're studying. But to what degree? Same with these functional medicine doctors. After being indoctrinated for year after year after year about how great all of the stuff that they learned was before, and the psychology of indoctrination that goes on in these schools, I could talk about in a long subject. All of a sudden, they're going to take a couple certificate courses and all will be well. Crazy. Let's talk about the state of education so you can get some perspective real quick. And then I can elaborate on future videos if you need me to, because I don't want to make this long. The Flexner Report changed the medical world forever. And back then, the Rockefellers and the Carnegies got together and went to medical schools. They were all failing. There were all kinds of diploma mills out there. Anyone could get a diploma. And what was becoming very popular in medical schools back then was naturopathy, homeopathy, chiropractic care, natural health stuff. It shouldn't be called natural or alternative or complementary. It's just health. It just is health, real health principles. That was what was being taught. But the Rockefellers and the Carnegies, who were shareholders in the pharmaceutical companies and had lots of business in the publishing world, wanted to control the education system. So they did this big report, they financed the whole thing, Flexner writes this report, and all of a sudden big reform happens in the laws and across all medical institutions. And what did they do? Well, all the failing ones were offered millions of dollars to abandon all of those courses on health and comply with what they were doing in a very gentle way. The next time the president of the board is going to be there, we want several board members to be there. And by the way, we're going to furnish the textbooks if you take our $10 million free money. And so all the big schools you hear about today are the ones who all accepted the money, and all the other schools are no longer exist. They all went bankrupt and they all disbanded those courses. And what they did was program doctors into becoming a drug horse. Call it what you want. That's exactly what's going on. They're matching diseases like Carolyn Dean, studying disease, not health. Studying disease, not health, and there's a big difference, then matching drugs to those diseases. So the textbooks are controlled, everything that they learn is completely controlled, and they use all these indoctrination ceremonies, sleep deprivation, all these things that are known for programming. And so this is what these people go through. Now, real honest doctors, if you're watching this, please, with intellectual honesty, you will agree with me that the truly effective people in the health world, in naturopathy, true traditional naturopathy, are self-taught. It's self-taught. There's only so much you can study in school. If doctors are not studying the root causes of disease, how can these other practitioners who spent all their time, 85% of their curriculum or more, studying disease in the way that it was taught, idiopathic, which is idiotic to believe, by the way, truly understand the root causes of illness and how to bring back natural health. So my question to any truly honest natural health practitioners, they will tell you that it is self-taught, that the real effective stuff is self-taught. No different than someone with an MBA. I'd rather learn from the person who has the massive bank account. Lori Grenier has succeeded with hundreds of products and hundreds of companies in many different industries and done over $500 million in business as a solo young female entrepreneur. I want her advice versus the other person with the diploma and the credentials. There are many engineers and mechanics who've never taken a single formal education course, who know a lot more than those with formal degrees. You all know this, and any honest health practitioner will tell you this. So any really good naturopathic, functional, integrative, quote-unquote, whatever you want to call it, is self-taught. As John Barron, MD, said, you can pick up 2 good books if you get the right books and you know how to research. You can pick up 2 good books on any given health subject and learn more about your doctor. And that's a medical doctor who has enough humility to just call it exactly as it is. So those who are really effective are self-taught. if people are watching this video and you got value and you want to learn more and you want me to break down more distinctions and break it down for you more, I'm happy to do that. But in the interest of time, I'll end this video here. And please just take with a grain of salt and don't take my word for it. This is not an attack on them. I've got friends from every one of these disciplines. Some of them are very effective health practitioners and great human beings. They're very nice people. But go study their curriculum for yourself and see what they're really learning. And take what they're offering at least with some kind of grain of salt. And maybe someday we can do some videos on talking about how you discern and decipher who is actually good and who's not, because there's some very simple basic questions that at least get you a real good start. Anyway, for today, I'm signing out. Take care. Naturopath, integrated, or functional. For this guy right here, it's none. I'm not going to pay for advice when I'm in there being the one giving it. I'm signing out. Take care. Have a good day.